Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Today I'm reviewing Powertec's newest power rack, the PR19. I purchased the PR19 on October 15th for $799. It shipped 4 days after the date of purchase, and then I got it within a week of the product being shipped. A few upgrades have taken place over the PR19, notably the holes being closer together, and then there are some additional holes in the crossbar, and I'll go over that in just a minute. Custom Companies, which is a freight company, delivered the rack that arrived in perfect condition on a pallet in 2 different boxes. This is my third power rack from Powertec. My first one I got in about 2007, 2008. It was one of the old gray ones that I purchased from bodybuilding.com for like $499. And I also got the high-low pulley with that rack. I think that was also for about $400. Around the time I purchased that old gray Powertec Power Rack, Powertec was one of the leaders in the industry. Fast forward a couple of years and I ended up getting the PR18 from Powertec. I didn't have that one long as soon as I saw the PR19. The PR19 comes with these J-cups. Here's a close-up of the J-cup. It's very well constructed with that style safety. These safeties are pretty durable. I dropped 300 pounds from a squat position on those safeties, and there's no indication of any damage to the rack. And it even comes with these dip attachments. The dip bars that come standard with the machine are awesome. They're easy to store. They're angled, so if you need a narrow grip or a wider grip, you can do so just by your position on the dip bars. They feel fantastic, and you can face either direction. You can use the dip bar for push-ups. Inverted rows. And rack chins. I use the dip bars when I'm doing Hatfield squats. Or if you just wanted to vary your pull-up grip, you can use the dip bars for that too. Again, it's awesome. These come standard with the rack. I would like to see Powertec include some UHMW on the inside, but I've done that with a roll that I purchased from Amazon. Another improvement that Powertec made with this rack compared to their old ones is that multi-grip pull-up bar that comes standard with this rack. So with this one pull-up bar, you can do a variety of different pull-up grips, starting with the traditional, then a wide, one of my favorite, hammer, angled, narrow, supinated, and if you turn the other way, an angled, supinated style pull-up. One of the biggest improvements that Powertec made with this rack compared to the 2018 is that the holes are closer together. Powertec calls these west side style hole spacings. They're really not even close to west side style, but it is an improvement. These holes are 1.5 inches away from one another, which was standard on the old Powertec racks. These holes in the bench press area are now 5/8 away from one another. There are 29 holes in the upright, but for whatever reason, Powertec capped that 29th hole. The powder coat is nice and it's held up well. If you look here, you can see where the high-low pulley attaches. Now let's talk about some of the attachments. I ended up getting all of these attachments for the PR18 and then just carried them over to the PR19, starting with the battle rope attachment. That's very well constructed. The red looks good on black, and I was able to get it for $30. The price has jumped up to $39, but that's not that big of an increase. Next up, the band pegs. I got these for $60. They have gone up to $70. They are again very well constructed, but unlike some other racks where you can adjust the band pegs, those are set. Next up, I got the weight horns to help hold down the rack because I don't have it bolted to the ground or bolted to a platform. Those are about $60. They come in a pair. Obviously, 345s on there, and there's still plenty of room left for more weight. Next up, the landmine attachment. I got this attachment for $100. It has gone up to $130. It's very well constructed, a nice design. It comes with a standard setting, so you could use either standard or Olympic barbells. Because I'm using half of my garage instead of the whole garage, I do have the landmine on the inside of the power rack, which isn't the most ideal place for it, but it's just where I have to have it based on my space limitations. I would like to see a ball and socket setup similar to some of the other landmine models, but this still works pretty good. It moves this way and this way. And unlike a lot of other landmine attachments, you can attach it directly to the rack right there. I have the safety spotter arms. The set comes in at about $60 to $65. There is a 10.5 workspace right there, which in my opinion isn't nearly enough. So Powertec, please increase the length of your safety spotter arms. There is a nice amount of UHMW there and also on the safeties that come standard with the rack. However, for all of these attachments, there's no other UHMW tape anywhere. So I ended up purchasing my own off of Amazon and applying UHMW to the inside of all the attachments just so the rack doesn't get scratched up. I also purchased the 5.5-inch add-ons to increase the height of the pull-up bar. Those were about $40, but without those, this rack is 84 inches tall with a width of about 51 inches and a length of about 51 inches. In terms of depth from upright to upright, you have 25.5 inches to work with. And from upright to upright inside of the rack, you have 44.5 inches to work with. Next up, I want to show you what a couple of different bars look like inside of the rack. Here is the Titan Fitness multi-grip bar, and you can see how it sits in the J-cup. There is a little bit of space, but it works fine. Next up, here's the Titan Fitness Safety Squat Bar version 2, and it again fits in the J-cups nicely, with just a little bit of space between the bar and the bottom of the J-cup. Now let's move on to these holes that are in the crossbar. When I saw this advertised online, I thought these holes were for band pegs, which is why I ended up purchasing an additional set of band pegs from Powertec. However, I ran into an issue. When the rack and those band pegs arrived, I tried putting on or bolting on those band pegs, and the holes didn't line up with the bolts for the band pegs. I contacted Powertec, and they too thought that those holes were for band pegs. Well, after doing some further research, those holes are for add-ons that have yet to be released. So unfortunately, with a brand new rack, I had to drill holes so that I could put those band pegs to use. So with so many options available, why did I choose Powertec? Loyalty is probably the biggest reason. As I mentioned in my leverage review, I've had almost every Powertec product that they've put out. Secondly, at the time of this recording, availability. With a lot of racks being out of stock, Powertec has been in stock. Another reason, free shipping. Another reason I choose Powertec is customer service. I've always had very good dealings with Powertec's customer service team. The only issue that I ever had dealt with the compact leg sled, and Powertec went above and beyond to make that issue up to me. Another reason I chose the Powertec Power Rack is because of uniformity. A lot of my pieces are Powertec, and I do like having consistency with brands. Another reason I got this rack is that it didn't need to be bolted to the ground. I've moved this rack multiple times to make room for other equipment, and obviously that would have posed an issue if I had it drilled into the floor or into a platform. But if you do want to drill this rack into the floor or into a platform, Powertec doesn't make feet that slide into the frame, and those feet have an opening for a bolt to be driven through. I would classify the rack as a mid-range rack. By no means is it going to be as well built or as sturdy as one of Rogue's monster racks. This rack has a 1,000 pound capacity, and that's all in the world I'll ever need. If I was Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall or any power lifter from Westside Barbell, I probably wouldn't choose the Powertec Power Rack, but for most people, it's going to be perfect. And with all of the good things that I've had to say about Powertec as I've reviewed the Leverage M, the compact leg sled, it is time for Powertec to start innovating again. They were leaders in the industry 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and it seems like they've kind of fallen out as Rep has gained some traction, Titan and Rogue. But Powertec, it is time to put some lever arms on the rack. It is time to do some monolift attachments. It is time to put a belt squat on here. That wouldn't be hard. If you look at this upright, there is an opening right here for one of the plate posts if you choose to get that add-on. That's a good spot to put a belt squat. For a mid-range rack, this rack's definitely a 4 out of 5. I hope you found this review helpful, and if so, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.